All right, let's be honest. No one likes meetings. They always happen at the worst time, like right when you're in the zone, ready to get something done, or right before you're about to go home. But meetings don't have to be so painful, especially if you're in a work from home environment. So that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. We're going to talk about why you should start streaming your meetings. All right, so why should you stream your meetings? Well, first of all, it's required. If everyone's working from home, they can't go to a meeting room. Next is that it's just more manageable. Like if you have a team that has more than 10 staff, more than 10 people in a meeting, after 10 people, it just gets crazy to manage different people talking and people not talking all over each other and are there cameras on or not. It's just way easier to manage a live stream that you prepared for and that you could produce, and that's easier for people to join and watch. And the last one is that it's secure and easy to archive. If you're streaming on a platform like YouTube, you can use Google Suite to control access to the live stream. You can make live streams private, and you can have the archive there ready to go whenever people want to watch, or if they jump in the middle of the meeting, they can use the DVR function to kind of get caught up on what's going on. So it's flexible for a staff that's maybe spread across a lot of time zones. It's secure, it's safe, but how do you set up, how do you prepare for streaming your meetings? All right, so if you're gonna get started streaming your meetings, there's some pre-production work that you need to do. Now, first, I would recommend dedicating a person to producing the meeting. If you're organizing the meeting and get everything sorted, maybe you can do it yourself, but it's better to have just a dedicated person running the machine. So first up, you're gonna want your speakers to be all in the same group call. Preferably you wanna use something like Skype, Zoom, or Microsoft Teams. The reason for this is because these all support NDI. We actually did a video about these. But basically the NDI will let you take in specific video feeds, and it's just a lot easier to manage. The next thing is you probably want your presenters to use something like XSplit Presenter. This is so they can present their slides on their own. It's easy to manage. We have a whole getting started video on XSplit Presenter. Shows you how easy it is, but basically they set that up as their camera and they show their slides. It's better than having like one big master set of slides that everyone has to go through and switch between, and maybe someone didn't update their slides in time. If they just manage it themselves using Presenter, it's a lot smoother, it's a lot easier. And finally, there's the platform that you're gonna use. Now, we did a whole video about all the features of YouTube Live, and I've already mentioned it, but this is really the best platform if you don't have your own private platform to stream to. It just has really good privacy features. You can control the chat. It's automatically archived. You can create an event in advance, so you can send out the link so people can know where to watch, where to tune in. It's really the best choice if you're not paying for any type of service. Now, if it's you or someone else doing the production, there are some requirements. So PC-wise, you don't really need a super crazy good PC to start off with, just something that has at least 8 cores on the CPU or has an NVIDIA GPU. Now, of course, you maybe want to beef this up and have your own dedicated PC for production, but again, it's not required. But next level type setup is having the production PC, a PC to host the call, and then perhaps an audio interface or a mixer so you can control the levels between different people. And then you're of course gonna want XSplit Broadcaster, which we're gonna talk about setting up in the next section. So first I'm gonna take you through the different scenes you'll set up. Now you can go really crazy with production quality here, but we're just gonna go with the basics. So on the first scene, this is your starting soon standby scene. This is basically before the event starts. Now you can have a graphic designer make a graphic for this, but at the base level you wanna set up maybe just starting soon, and then a text source with a countdown timer. Basically, it's gonna count down to a specific time. It's a custom script. And then the next scenes are gonna be your presenter scenes. So you wanna do this while you're in a call with them. That way you can either pull their NDI feeds or do screen captures. And then once these are set, you're gonna wanna set up like a standby scene, like just in case something happens or someone's camera goes off. It's a safety scene to go to, or just in between different segments. Then you wanna check your audio. So if you need to talk on this stream, set this as your microphone, or if you're using like a mixer or something to control everyone's audio levels, set this as the input. And then system sound, you just want to leave as default. So next, let's cover the actual streaming settings. So the base resolution you want to set XSplit to is 1280 by 720p and 30 FPS. Now, since it's just going to be talking heads and mostly slides, then you really don't need a super high resolution or frame rate unless there's a lot of videos that you're going to be playing for some reason. And then you're actually gonna want to sign into your YouTube account in XSplit. And if you're using YouTube and you sign in, it'll basically be able to pull events. So if you've already set up an event for the invite for this meeting, it'll be able to pull this and you can just stream to it right away. There's actually recommended settings for YouTube at different resolutions already listed within the XSplit plugin, so really helpful. And one last tip, if you're gonna be on YouTube and you're gonna have like a Q&A session, you can do it with the chat. You can actually pull in this chat as a source and overlay it. And this is really good if someone's like watching an archive and they see someone answer a question, they can see what question they were answering. So really helpful and just a nice little touch to have. So streaming meetings does take a bit of prep work, but once you've laid the groundwork, it's really smooth, and the more prep you do, the less hassle that maybe not so technically inclined people that are joining will have. But let me know, how do you run your meetings? And do you think there should be more meetings or less meetings? And why is less always the answer? Let me know in the comments, give a like if this is helpful, and subscribe to the channel for more ways to stay on the grind.